Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, before work tonight, got to see the latest in the DC Universe films, that is Birds of Prey, or Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey, which features the story of what happens when Harley Quinn breaks up with the Joker and then winds up in a particularly wild adventure that lends everything else is past the first act, so I don't want to spoil it. This is the problem with this movie straight off, is that it should have been called, Harley Quinn, because this is essentially the story of Harley Quinn, and you have a group of other females who are essentially superheroes or wannabe superheroes or groupies or whatever they are, sort of slowly invading this movie. Their backstories being told, but not in a manner that is particularly satisfying, and not in a manner like we don't really need to know the backstories. It's like, yeah, okay, there's one chick, she's out there for revenge. There's one chick, she's out there because she's a female version of Batman. There's one chick, she's out there because she's just kind of a victim of circumstance, and so on and so forth. And the primary villain of this, of course, is Black Mask, who you will know from the comics, but he doesn't even don the mask for most of the movie. And where I'm going with this is that, first off, the plot of this movie is an utter mess. There is too much being introduced. It's hard for you to keep it all straight. And to make matters worse, the characters are harder to recognize. They're very different from their more typical forms. And, just in case you were hoping you're the kind of guy that saw Wolf of Wall Street and wanted more of the Harley Quinn that was teased in that Harley Quinn is gone. This is not the Freudian filmed comic book movie that you were hoping for. Here's something you should understand about comic book movies. Now, I'm going to grant you here that we don't see a lot of this, but look, comic book characters are sex symbols. I mean, you've got mysterious men in capes wearing tights. And back in the day, women were ogling them. And when we added female characters, oh, look, they're really in good shape, busty chicks who stand out in a crowd. And they're there because they're hot. That's the thing. So when you take these characters like Harley Quinn, played by the absolutely lovely Margot Robbie, and all these other characters, and then make them look like normal people, as opposed to sex symbols, it really detracts from what they're supposed to be. I mean, just think about this for a moment. If you go out there and you get a woman's magazine, a fashion magazine of some kind, you will see a sexy girl. And if you go out there and you get a men's magazine of some kind, you will often see a sexy girl. If you don't see a sexy girl or a sexy girl, you would probably see a sexy guy. Like if you look at a weightlifting magazine, you tend to see muscle-bound men and muscle-bound women. You see people who are the apex of what this particular group thinks of as attractive. This is what comic books are. Superheroes are what we want to be. Women who look at superheroes, it's like, why is Gal Gadot the quintessential feminist symbol in the modern day? Because everybody wants to be sexy. Everybody wants to be a sexual object and be desired. Being desired is good. It feels good. And then you look at this movie, and it's none of these women are unattractive, but they're not attractive. They look like regular women. And as something of a basic problem with that, Huntress doesn't look a damn thing like Huntress. I would never have recognized her if she were doing cosplay. You'd look at her and be like, okay, that's terrible. If you looked at Black Canary, not even the same race as the original, and I mean, the actress didn't have anything to do, so I can't say she was miscast. But it's like this, as one would point out, Samuel L. Jackson, the first Nick Fury was a white dude, all right, in the comics. But then you got Samuel L. Jackson to play him, and I think in the comics he's been both. But Samuel L. Jackson is a world-class actor. The dude is phenomenal as Nick Fury, although there are portrayals of him that I did not care for. But you can't go wrong with that guy. He is the ultimate badass, playing the ultimate badass. So okay, it fits perfectly. Then they got this chick to play Black Canary. She does not have the physical look of Black Canary. I mean, she does not look like she would have a lot of trouble holding her own, but Black Canary was the Justice League's fighting expert. Superboy had trouble keeping up with her in the ring. So, really, you cast this woman who does not portray that part. She does not have the emotional presence or the strength. In fact, none of these women have the strength, radiate the strength that I would hope that they would radiate to be these idealized concepts. I mean, that's the thing is, Huntress trying to struggle with her name. Your name is part of your identity. And she's struggling with who she is. Okay, and this is a very strong psychological concept going, yes, all right, makes sense. People call her the crossbow killer when in reality she's Huntress. She's going, no, I want you to recognize who I am. Which, I mean, is, lady, write Huntress on your freaking bow, on your freaking bolts for your crossbow, and shut the heck up. Black Canary, I mean, it's weird that Black Canary is a white character and she's blonde with blue eyes. But in this thing, I believe she's a Latino, and again, not a bad looking girl at all. Outshine Margot Robbie, in fact, although it's probably because the costumes they put her in were a lot better. But the thing is, doesn't look a damn thing like Black Canary. And the Canary call doesn't show up there. And I mean, again, Black Canary seems like sort of like a bad version of, what's her name? A bad version of Catwoman. And, it's like, yeah, all right, she can fight, she's sleek, she's sexy. In the comic book, she wears fishnets, and she has a motorcycle like Catwoman. They're like, all right, she's Catwoman, just watered down Catwoman, only a hero, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing is off the limits if done well. But in this movie, she's not that. She's just a woman who can fight. So what defines a superhero? Why can she fight and other people can't? I mean, this is the thing that brings up the big question. How do you define superheroes? How are these people superheroes? How are they who they are? I thought there was something up there. Ooh. Anyway, so that's just one of those things that comes up. You ask that question. Any case, you look at these women and I guess they fight well, but this is a comic book movie designed not only to be more gritty and realistic, but to make these women look like somebody from everyday life. That's not a superhero. It's a disappointment. So yes, Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey sucks big hairy donkey balls. I would put it in the watch only if you are a fan of the genre and you have to watch this movie because, it's just, that's what you're going to do. It's not very entertaining. There's not much there. Just if you're a DC hardcore, watch this movie so you know what's going to be in the next bad movie by DC. Other than that, give it a pass. Maybe see it on cable. You're not going to understand anything that happens anyway because the plot is all over the place. But that's just my opinion. Love to hear yours. Comments below. I'm Richard.
Greetings, humanity. I'm Fred the Facehugger here, and I'm here to remind you that Richard, the owner of this YouTube channel, wants to help the world. That's your world, not my world. He's trying to get trash out of the ocean, and he can pay for that only if he gets monetized. So do yourself a favor, like and comment on this video, and get your friends to subscribe, or else terrible things will happen that I will not have any control over, but then my species will take over the earth. So, yeah. Up to you, worthless, apathetic, but, easily face-hugged human. Fred out.